Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of Seen, Heard, and Paid. What a freaking week. We have covered so much over the past 5 days that so many of you are already making progress with your content and getting people reaching out to you and inquiring about services. But the commitment that I have seen inside of this group is just so amazing. And I want to take a second and celebrate all of you for showing up, doing the work, reaching out, watching the replays, letting me know what's going on. Like, so many of you are holding yourselves accountable by even messaging me and being like, I can't make today, or I'm going to be there, I'm going to watch the replay. And like, you guys are committed to this and I see it. And I just want to celebrate the hell out of that, because the fact that you are committed to doing the work that I've been giving you inside of this container is just evidence to the fact that you are going to be successful in your business. And this is something that I really want to talk about today. Like, I was going to talk about how to have a sales conversation, but ultimately that's something that takes a little bit longer than 30 or 40 minutes. And I was like, what would actually be the most impactful conversation that we could have today? And I really just want to kind of be honest and real and raw with you all and talk about what it actually takes to be somebody who continues to be seen, heard, and paid on social media. Someone who has a successful coaching business, a sustainable coaching business that is making impact, but also giving them the space to build the life that they desire to have. Because this is, once you start getting clients, we talked about this yesterday, but like, once you start getting clients, more clients than you have now, you start booking out, you start having a full calendar. It's really important to know, like, how do I actually sustain this? What is the energy behind having a successful coaching business? Because strategy is literally like 30% of the equation. Honestly, if you all did everything I tell you in here today and you remain consistent with it and you embody the work that you're doing, you will sign clients. It'll be like the easiest thing you've ever done. But there's a lot more to remaining consistent and being embodied in your work and executing on the strategy and doing all of the things that it takes to build your business beyond strategy. It just goes way deeper than that. So the conversation I really want to have today is much bigger than like, what do I post on social media? It's really the deeper context of becoming a coach who feels fulfilled and satisfied with their business and is also making huge impact in the industry, who is a leader, who stands out and who has staying power. So let's go ahead and kind of pull up our PowerPoint for today. And we'll cover a little bit around like what we're cover the outline of what we're doing today. But before we jump into it, let me make sure that I'm all set up here. If you have any questions, I am doing the Q&A at the end of this. A few of you submitted questions. If you do have questions, you can put them in the chat, and I will answer them live if you have some that you can get to before I get through the questions at the end. So just really quick, the different ways that you can come into the Empowered family that we've been talking about over the past few days. If you're like, I really love the conversation that we're having here, I truly feel like I could benefit from support, from learning more skill sets to grow my business in regards to marketing and sale. You want to help, build that resilient as fuck mindset to become somebody who is an impact making coach in the industry and is making lots of money, but also is living a really amazing life, then these are the different ways that you can come into my world and ways that you can work with me. So we have Content to Cash Flow that's coming up. We also have the Empowered Society, which all of you have heard me talk about. Intuitive Business Academy is something that I mentioned yesterday. This is my 6-month group coaching program. So this is where you're going to get access to all of the foundational work that you need to the foundational work, meaning strategic work that you need to scale your business, but also I'm going to help you unlock the magic of your intuition so that you can use that to scale to multiple 6 figures and have a business that feels like it's aligned with your soul and is just kind of like, it feels like magic. It feels like a warm hug. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just amazing. So I also have private mentorship and the coach prep school. If you're a newer coach and you're looking to get started, and you're like, how do I actually set up my business? How do I get a presence on social media? How do I sign my first few clients? Then coach prep school is for you. So those are the different ways that we can work together. You know about Empowered Society. I told you about that yesterday and the upcoming programs. So let's talk about what we're actually going to cover today. We're going to cover how to create an intuitive led business and have staying power. Because if you really desire to be seen, heard, and paid, a huge part of that is trusting your intuition, deconditioning all of the subconscious programming that is holding you back from trusting that intuition and taking action on it, and creating staying power in your business. So we have the 3 things we're going to cover today, which is the magic of your subconscious to get paid. We're going to talk about the energy of long-term growth on social media and giving less fucks. And we're going to talk about embodiment and magnetism, because these 3 areas are truly what is going to create that illogical growth that many of us desire, right? Because there are coaches in the industry who make 2K, 5K months. And if that's what you want, that's amazing. But there are coaches who make tons of money in the industry, but all of them and those who stay for the long term all have one thing in common. And that is this staying power component, and this commitment to long-term growth and the subconscious programming, as well as the emotional resiliency that allows them to sustain that. So let's go ahead and jump into like this conversation, because this is something that I feel like in the industry, there's been so much talk about like, make the money and do the things and follow my 5-step strategy to make 100K month. And it's like, that's amazing. But a lot of times that's actually holding people back from really building a business that's aligned with who they are. And if your business doesn't feel aligned with who you are and how you want to run it, then it's not going to be something that's sustainable. So even if you hit, you know, a 20K, 30K month, and then on the back end of it, you start to crash and you feel dysregulated and you don't like the way that you're doing things, how can you stick with it if that's how you feel? And a lot of times we're kind of like not trusting ourselves, and we're investing in all these different places, and we're looking for this magic fix or this solution that's going to give us all the answers. And it's really coming from this shame-based place of, I don't trust myself. I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody else knows better than I do. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, I don't teach my clients that in any fucking capacity, because I don't know better than you do. I have systems and structures, and I know what works for me, and I know what's worked for other people. And I have some proof of the evidence in my own life, but I'm not a god. I'm not your guru. And I don't ever want to be that for you. And I don't ever want you to be in a container where it feels like that, where it feels like you have to do exactly what they say. And you're not trusting yourself that you actually have the answers within you. And all you need is a coach to help you unlock those answers and guide you in the right direction. Because if you ever feel like that inside of a container, you should leave. Honestly, you should leave that container. I'm not saying to not follow through with your commitments, because I've left containers and followed through with my payment commitments after I found out that they weren't the right fit for me. Or I addressed the situation, or I addressed my own mindset that was creating that for me, right? And so it's really important that you understand that you have the answers, okay? You have the answers. You know within you what is right for you and what is not. You know if it's a mindset thing or an external thing. You know if it's a you problem or somebody else is trying to impose upon you, right? If you're being gaslit or anything like that. And so I really want you to take ownership over that you have the answers, and you don't need to hire me or anyone else to fix you, to solve the problem for you, to give you some magic solution, because you know what's right for you. You are the expert on you. You know what you need. And I want you to bring that energy into the containers that you participate into your business, into your life. Stop looking for other people to give you the answers and validate you. Listen to what they have to say, and then check in with yourself and decide, is this something that applies to me? Is this something that I need? Is this something that's going to work for me? If I know that this is something that is going to work for me, but I'm having resistance, how can I get my energy behind it instead of trying to look to somebody else to tell me if it's right or wrong. Right. And so I really want you all to, this is the biggest goal for my clients, is to help them see that they have the answers. And through them discovering that they have the answers, it's the process of unlearning, regulating, and reclaiming. And what I mean about that is like, especially if we've been in this industry for a long time, where we grew up in families where it was like, we don't know and we need to look to other people to give us the answers, or we're not allowed to make decisions for ourselves, or maybe we've been in religions or cultures that tell us that we don't have autonomy or sovereignty. Is like, we need to unlearn all of that. We need to unlearn the trauma programming that makes us feel like we can't trust ourselves. And so this is what I mean by the magic of your subconscious to get paid, is because if you do the work and you have the support and you have the coaching to help you decondition all of the programming that's making you feel like you don't know enough, you should feel bad about who you aren't enough, you don't have the answers, you need validation in your decisions, whatever it is, just basically not being able to trust yourself or feeling good enough, then we need to unlearn that. It's a process of unlearning all of those old ideas and beliefs and thought patterns, and then regulating your nervous system so that you can reclaim your sovereignty as a business owner, as someone who knows what the fuck they're doing, because you have the answers, right? Coming into this identity of, I am someone who is powerful. I can trust myself. I can trust what my intuition is telling me, because your intuition is your subconscious mind. Your intuition is fed by your subconscious mind. Everything that our mind has received over the past multiple decades that we've been alive, what we're receiving on a daily basis, is being fed and distorted and deconstructed and put into our subconscious mind. And then those feelings of like, it just feels like I should do this, or I just know this, or I just know that intuition, that intuitiveness is being fed by your subconscious. So if your subconscious is programmed by fear and trauma, or any other programming that you've been fed by culture or society, your intuition is going to be distorted. And so we have to start to shift the programming in the subconscious mind through intentional coaching, processing, releasing, regulating your nervous system, because your nervous system is feeding the subconscious as well. Your body is storing information and it's feeding the mind, and it's feeding our intuition. We have to start unlearning all of that, regulating, and then we can reclaim this power that we have to make insane decisions for ourselves, to trust ourselves and follow through on these intuitive hits that we get. I'm curious, for those of you who are watching, or you're watching the replay, do you ever find yourself feeling like, I should do this thing, and then talking yourself out of it? Do you ever find yourself getting ideas for content or programs or ways to communicate, or like, I know this sounds like a really good idea, and then you hesitate and you hold back and you question yourself and you don't trust yourself to make the move, to do the thing, to say the thing, to create the thing? Do you find yourself constantly questioning, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Do you find yourself moving into actions from a place of like, I don't think that this is good enough, and I really need somebody to tell me that it's okay? And like, that doesn't mean that we don't need validation from time to time, but if this is your constant programming and you're not trusting yourself to take actions on ideas, and you need people to validate your decisions, even in coaching containers, sometimes my clients will Voxer me and they'll be like, Katie, how do these slides look? And I'll see it and I won't respond intentionally, because I want them to take action and trust themselves, and trust that they can figure it out through the process of like fucking up and failing and making mistakes here and there. It's not to say I do that all the time. I do it intentionally when I know that a client needs that kind of nudge in the right direction. But like, we have to learn to trust ourselves as business owners, because if we want to be people who create exceptional results in this world, we have to be people who have exceptional mindsets and exceptional trust for ourselves. It is so fucking important. And so like, this is what I mean by, I could teach you all the things, but it doesn't matter if you don't trust yourself enough to execute on them and find your way through it and design your own path. Because everything that I've learned over the past 3 years, it has allowed me to build a scale to almost $500,000. I don't use it in the same exact way that it was taught to me. I have trusted myself to take the meat and leave the bones, find what works for me, put it together in little pieces, experiment until I found the best path for me, the best place for me. We cannot experiment from a place of distrust with ourselves. We cannot take risks if we don't trust ourselves. And a huge part of entrepreneurship is taking risks. So the next step in this process is really getting the support to unlearn, knowing how to self-coach, knowing how to regulate, reclaiming, and then clearing the channels to trust and listen. So the first part of the Intuitive Business Academy is a detox. I was talking about this yesterday, is because you're consuming all this information from all these different places, and you're hearing all these things in the coaching industry and all these things from your family and friends and all these things from the podcasts and books. And it's like, it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. It doesn't matter what everyone else is saying. If you try to take all that information in and then just regurgitate that information in your own content, it's not you. Right? And it's not you being able to trust yourself, because your mind is so consumed with all this information that you can't even hear your intuition. You can't even find your own voice because you're filled with the voices of others. So if you're constantly filled with the voices of others, whether it's your family or podcast or other coaches or me or whoever, where are you in the equation? Who's actually driving the bus in your life if you're constantly consuming all this information from other people and questioning, do I really know what I'm doing? Does my opinion make enough sense? Am I going to sound smart enough? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Whatever. We can't get to multiple six figures. We can't get to a sustainable, heart-centered, supportive business from the place of constant consumption and questioning and confusion. So there has to be like this detox and this cleanse component so that we can come to a place where we can trust ourselves and actually hear what our intuition is telling, what our higher self is telling us. So I want to stop here and see what you all said in the chat, because I'm curious. Automatic writing helps with finding the answers from within. Yes, especially with content. I used to, but now I'm very confident in what comes through. I still find the question, am I doing it right, popping in now and then, but I hear your voice telling me keep going. Good. Yes, I got the download during summer. I already have the answers. And this is it, right? And so these are the type of women that I work with, because I work with women who already believe this about themselves, but ultimately, ultimately are trying to deepen this trust with themselves, deepen this inner knowing, deepen their sense of intuition so that they can fully use this as the compass in their business. So the magic of your subconscious to get paid. And obviously with every new level, there's going to be new pieces and beliefs that surface that we're like, oh, okay, like there's some work to be done here. And this is why having support, having a coach is so important, because we can't see what we can't see. That's the whole point of it being in the unconscious or subconscious or being a shadow, is like you can't see it. And so in order to find that and have it reflected back to you, we need other people to hold up mirrors for us. And this is why coaching is an integral part of running your business. Like I would have never been able to get here if I did not have one-on-one coaching and sisterhood. It just wouldn't have happened. You would feel like you're alone. How many of you have felt like you're alone? And that's fucking terrifying sometimes, when you're like, I need help right now. I need support. And it's so important. That's why I say, like, you don't need a coach, but if you want to move faster and you want to feel supported and you want to feel like relief of like just knowing that you're held in that container by someone who gets it, by someone who's been there, by someone who can lead you, it's priceless, honestly. So let's talk about the energy of long-term growth on social media and giving way less fucks. So the energy of long-term growth on social media, from everything that we've been doing over the past 4 days of like the challenges and things that we've been doing, is consistency, resiliency, and support, right? So like the consistency component seems to be the hardest thing for a lot of people. Let me know in the chat if it's something that's challenging for you or something you've struggled with in the past, because being consistent and taking the non-negotiable actions every single day of like posting, connecting, doing the things, being consistent in your own messaging, being consistent during launches, committing, doubling down on things, even when it feels hard or scary. This is the true path to building a business that blows your fucking mind, because the consistency component is truly what creates trust with your audience. It creates trust with yourself. It creates trust across the board. Now, in order to be consistent, we need emotional resiliency. So emotional resiliency is like something that We strengthen and learn over time by constantly pushing up against our edges, taking risks, being in situations where we feel a bit triggered and we have the opportunity to expand our emotional regulation, and being vulnerable, surrendering outcomes. The resiliency component really is like the it factor, if you were to say something, between people who start a coaching business and stick around for a year or two, and people who start in coaching business and are still going to be here 10 years from now leading in the industry. Because we are in a baby industry, y'all. Like, we are in a little baby industry right now, and it's growing exponentially every year. And you know what's going to happen is that there's going to be changes. There's going to be different regulations placed. There's going to be changes in the way that we market. There's going to be changes in the way that we sell. And in order to stick through all of that as business owners and entrepreneurs, we need to be able to adapt and overcome quickly, which is the definition of resiliency. And the ability to adapt and overcome quickly doesn't mean learning the new strategy and executing on it. It means getting over your own resistance and emotional and mental shit that will come up in the process of being like, oh my God, everything's changing. What do I do? What's the hardest thing for people? Change, uncertainty. That's the thing that creates the most fear for people. And a lot of people have already, and this isn't shame or judgment to them, but a lot of people have given up already. How many people did you maybe start in containers with, and they're no longer like running their business? They haven't posted in social media in months. They haven't offered their services to anyone. I know that there are people that started in coaching containers with me 3 years ago, and many of them had made 6 figures and then fell off. Many of them didn't make the money and then they fell off, or many of them were at a nice place and then they fell off because they couldn't keep the resiliency going of like, I am somebody who's committed to this for the long term. I have staying power. I can adapt and overcome quickly. I'm committed to fucking growth. I'm committed to my own personal growth, because that's the biggest thing. I'm committed to my own personal growth and evolution. I'm coachable. I'm redirectable. I can coach myself and be coached by other people. Because this is the funniest thing. This used to happen all the time. So you guys know that I was a therapist for a period of time, and I still talk to a lot of my therapist friends. Many of them don't have therapists. And I'm like, why don't you have a therapist or like, how could you be in integrity with that if you don't have a therapist? And it's literally like, we're told, like, you have, if you're going to be a therapist, you have to have a supervisor and a therapist. Like, you need to be engaging in the work that you're doing, in the practices that you're doing. And because many of them think that they don't need it. They think that they don't need it, right? They think that they don't need it, or they're not coachable. They're not therapizable. Like, they just are resistant to it, right? Because they're resistant to looking at their own shit. And I can tell you this, those therapists burn out. They burn out. They get compassion fatigue. They don't actually do deep work with their clients. They just sit in a room and talk to them. This is where talk therapy gets a bad rap, right? Is because they just sit in the room and make friends with their clients because they're really good at building rapport, but they're not actually good at doing therapy. Like, and they're same thing with coaches. It's the same thing with coaches. And then those people burn out because they can't handle it. They can't handle the workload. They can't handle having the clients. It's always everybody else's problem. They're very much people who live from an effect-driven life instead of them taking radical responsibility for their own behavior. And why is this? Because they don't have someone to coach or therapize them, right? They don't have someone to be in the space and helping them see their own blocks and their own resistance and their own mental fuckery that's holding them back from being exceptional, that's holding them back from evolving, that's holding them back from being the best version as possible. And we're going to start seeing this. I know it in the coaching industry. We're going to start seeing it too, where coaches have to have supervisors. I guarantee it. Like, as regulations start to roll out over the next few years, as this grows, like, there's going to be certifications that are required. I already know it. And then with the certifications, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to need a coach, like a master level coach, to supervise you. I guarantee it. Come back to me in 3 years and let me know if I'm right. Let me know if I'm right in 3 years. But like, this is because we can't be in integrity with what we're doing unless we are actually living and breathing what we are doing and valuing the work that we do. Because if you are not, I did a whole post on this one time. It's like, how can you say you value coaching if you don't have a coach? How can you tell your clients to invest in coaching if you don't think that coaching is important for you? it's a complete lack of integrity. And there's also coaches that come into containers and you can't coach them. You'll offer them coaching and they're resistant to it because they think they know best. And that's ego, right? They think they know everything and they think they know best. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's an opportunity for growth. And this is something that you all are going to see. And I share this because if we want to remain consistent, if we want to have that ability to adapt and overcome quickly with changes that will happen in social media and with the coaching industry, then we need to be working on that now and strengthening that now and having support to do that. The next part in really building this long-term growth on social media is putting the person first and business second. So this is something I teach my clients, is because your business, you are not your business. You are your business. You are not your business, but your mental health is your business. Okay. So like you taking care of yourself every day before you enter into your business, before you enter into client sessions, setting up systems and structures. I'm going to give you some reflections on this in a moment, of like having the boundaries, having the systems, having the structures, having the space to take care of yourself on the daily basis, and making yourself a priority is how you will be able to have long-term growth. Because if you are waking up every day frantic, moving into your business, creating, doing all the things, showing up to all the coaching calls, doing all the shit, and you're not actually taking care of the human, you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. You're going to give up. You're going to find yourself in a place where your nervous system is completely dysregulated, and you're going to be in frantic, or you're going to get sick, or something's going to happen. I've seen it. Have any of you seen it? I would love to hear. Have any of you experienced it? I know I did. Like, and I am someone who has a very, very, very good self-care practice, but you will have to evolve in that self-care practice, because what worked in year 1 is not going to work in year 3. So you have to figure out how, and as you have more clients and more impact and more visibility, like there are going to be different things that you're going to have to do. You're going to build up tolerances to the old ways of taking care of yourself, and you're going to have to find some new ones, or expand or try new things, and get additional support or additional help if you need it. Like, I've had multiple healers and trauma coaches. I still have a healer. I have an energy worker. Like, there's different things that you're going to need at different stages in your business to make sure that person first, business second. Because if you're constantly just focusing on how do I make more sales instead of how do I make sure that I'm prepared for more sales, then you are going to be in a place where you're going to find yourself kind of chaotic, frantic, and possibly burnt out. So person first, business second. Now, this is what I was saying before with clearing the channels. My cat is here, and look, he's just like in my freaking face. Look at with him. He's such a boy. Okay, so the next part is this. It's like staying in your lane to become a leader and a standout coach. So when I was talking about before of like, we're constantly consuming, looking at what everybody else is doing, trying to create what other people are creating, trying to sound like the Amanda Francises or the holistic psychologists of the world. Like, we can't do that. We already have those people. We don't need more of them. We need you. And so how can you be more of you? By staying in your own fucking lane. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Stop looking at what everyone else is saying. Stop allowing yourself to be hijacked every time somebody disagrees with the way that you do something, because you're going to see that, especially as you step more into this energy of like a standout coach and being very, especially if you're in content to cash flow and some of the assignments I'm going to give you, like you're going to state like real opinions, and you're going to have a real message, and you're going to stand on a fucking hill. And that hill is going to be the hill that you choose to die on, so to say. And I think all of us already have that hill that we're choosing to die on. And so there are going to be people who are on different hills and are screaming, saying, that's not the right hill to be on. And if you allow yourself to get knocked off your fucking hill every time somebody says that you're on the wrong one, then you're not going to be able to be a leader or a standout coach. You're going to be somebody who's constantly trying to pick themselves back up because you're consistently knocked down instead of consistently standing up. And so like from there, That was good. I wish I could have wrote that down. That just came straight from the brain hole right there. But yeah, like this is a huge thing. And this is why I say, like, stop consuming and start creating. Stop consuming and start creating. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Stop worrying about what anybody else is doing. Just put your blinders on, get in your own lane, and commit to what you're talking about, commit to the result that you offer, commit to being in a place where you are trusting your intuition and expressing yourself. If you have something to say it, believing that your voice matters, believing that you have an opinion that matters, believing that what you have to say is important, believing that what you have to say makes sense. Because from there, that's how we find that standout energy. That's how we build brands that make a difference. That's how we find clients who are self-led and believe in what we believe and truly desire to work with us, not just because of the results that we have in our own life, but because of who we are. Clients who want to work with us, not just because of the results that we have or the results that we offer, but because of who we are and how we can contribute to their well-being. And the beliefs that we hold and the message that we have and the movement that we're creating. That's huge. So that is how you create that staying power. This is very, very important. Now, the last thing I just want to talk about before we get into the Q&A is embodiment and magnetism. So I told you about person first, business second, and this first part kind of goes with that. My question is, who are you being outside of your business? What kind of life are you living outside of your business? How are you conducting yourself? How are you enjoying your life? How are you practicing pleasure and gratitude daily? How are you just someone who is so fucking in love with their life that it is like, oh my God, like, of course I want to work with her because I want to be in love with my life too. And not doing it from the energy of I'm going to be in love with my life so I can get clients, but just fully in love with your life, because look at how magical life is. Like, we are literally sitting here on a Saturday morning at 11 a.m. from all over the world, having a conversation about how to be a better person. And then we get to make lots of money by helping people be other people. And I have a little girl out there we're about to put up a Christmas tree, and like, we have a house to live in and a roof over our head, which is more than a majority of the population have. Like, how could I not be so fucking in love with my life right now? Despite whatever numbers in your bank account or however many clients are on your roster, like, who gives a shit? Look at your life. And if you're not happy with your life, I encourage you to figure out how to be happy with your life, because I guarantee it's nothing in your external world. It's up here. It's up here. It's the thoughts that you're currently having about your current situation that are making you unhappy. How can you shift the thoughts? How can you process the emotions? How can you get support? What do you need to do? What do you need to do? That is always my questions for clients. What do you need to do to be happy and feel safe right now? What is it? What do you need to do to feel happy and feel safe right now? Sometimes that looks like I need to go punch pillows and rage out because I'm really fucking pissed because my launch didn't go as planned and I'm upset and whatever. And then I'm going to find a different state. I'm going to find a better feeling thought. I'm going to find the lesson in it. I'm going to move forward because I have that responsibility. I have that power over myself. First, I'm going to process, and then I'm going to move. Or it could look like I just simply need to focus on all that I already have instead of what I don't have. And it can literally be that simple, and you can change your state that quickly. How can I find the joy in everyday life? How can I shut off from business and go live my fucking life? Remember yesterday we talked about the mantra of like, do the things and then go live your life? This is it. So who are you being outside of your business? I did a whole post on Instagram today about this, because like, how can you sell results of living your best life or whatever it is, like, if you're not living your best life? It's incongruency. If you're like, listen, I'm going to teach my clients how to have their most magical life and be their most confident self and live up to their fullest potential, and you're sitting in a room staring at your phone because you don't have enough story views, telling yourself, I suck and this sucks and I'm not doing enough, and questioning every post that you put up and looking at your bank account and constantly telling yourself you don't have enough, and then like, you know, not being happy with where you're at right now, how can you coach other people to do that? And this leads me to my next point here is like, you are your own best client. You have to coach yourself. You have to get the support to be coached. Like, you have to be your first client. You have to be your best client. So like, are you doing the things that you ask your clients to do? If you ask your clients to do daily rituals and do daily routines and complete these habits, are you doing those things? If you're asking your clients to make big, bold moves and invest in themselves, are you doing that for yourself? Or are you just expecting other people to do what you won't do? Because that sounds like lack of integrity to me, right? And it's the same thing. And I'm not saying that you should shame yourself for that if that's where you're currently at, but it's an opportunity to explore, why am I not? What's the next move? How can I be my very best client? How can I do the same things I teach my clients? How can I take the actions that I tell my clients to take? How can I live my life the way I tell my clients to live their life? Because when you can learn how to coach yourself to do those things and work through the fear and the discomfort and build the consistency and the habits the same way that you ask your clients to do it, you will become magnetic in everything that you do. And you won't have to try to convince people to work with you because you are the embodiment of the work. You are so magnetic in what you do. And this is what I mean by walking the walk. Like, show people that you live the life that you talk about creating for them. And how can you do that if you're not embodied in it? Right? If you want to have marketing that is just so fucking easy and so natural and sales that just flow, these three things are how that happens. Because if I try to talk about having space in your business and taking care of your mental health and how that helps you make more money in your business and how that helps you build a sustainable business and find happiness and healing your trauma and healing all these things that I talk about, and I'm not actively doing that for myself, I will have nothing to talk about. First of all, it's going to sound like the same thing all the time. I will have no life experiences that contribute to the context of my work that allow me to gain deeper understanding, to more effectively coach my clients, right? Or the universe will present me with an experience to deepen this work, and I will get stuck in the lesson. I'll freeze. I'll feel overwhelmed. Hence exactly what happened to me this year. Last year, I had a 300 and something K year. This year, I'm not close to that. I'm like at 170K or something for the year, right? I'm like 200 and something in sales. That's cash and then sales. So those are two different things for those, if you weren't aware. But like in those two different things. So the universe presented me with experiences this year to understand what it's like to deepen the resiliency, to deepen the trust, to deepen my own understanding of like healing and making that a priority sometimes in our business and the different seasons that we go through, not making money contribute to my worth, right? All the things that I've been talking about for 2 years, I was given an opportunity this year to deepen the context of my work. Right now, there could have been an opportunity for me to say, oh, fuck, I suck. This is terrible. Who am I? I'm shitty. I should just give up. Right? Which was very real ego talk in my mind when it first started. And then I had to do exactly what I tell my clients to do. I had to invest when it was scary. I had to get help and support. I had to deepen the practices that I do. I had to find new ways of healing. I had to get additional support through, mental health counseling and things like that. Like, I had to do the work. I had to do the work so that I could deepen and embody what I teach. And now I'm in a position where I can coach my clients so much better through the times of income dips and plateaus and fear and uncertainty, because I've lived it and breathed it and moved through it. Right? Or I could have just said, fuck it, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing. And I could have stayed exactly the same. So like, when we're walking the walk and we're being our own best client and we're living our life outside of our business and not letting all of these things that are happening as an entrepreneur who's building a business from fucking scratch mean anything about who we are. Now we get to actually have an amazing life, deepen our work, and be the embodiment that magnetizes our soulmate clients. So these are the things that I would love you all to reflect on, to think about, like, am I truly embodied in this work to create more magnetism? Number one, and I would love for you to pop in the chat and answer them if you feel called. So, are your offers congruent with who you are being? So if you're offering a lifestyle of, pain-free living, are you doing that? If you're offering, wealth coaching, are you living as a wealthy woman? Whatever it might be. So that's number one. Number 2, this is a very important question. What needs to be cleaned up in your mindset, business, and behaviors to be the embodiment of what you're teaching? Right? So I know for me, a big behavior that needed to change back in the beginning of the year was me overworking and not living my life outside of my business. So it was like, I got so, and it wasn't a bad thing. We all go through lessons. It was absolutely necessary. But the first year of my business, I got consumed. It was like laser focus. And this, I'm like this. I can get obsessive thinking sometimes. And so I got super into my business and I was doing all the things and I was being rewarded for it because I'm making all this money and signing all these clients. And then I burnt out. And I was like, wait a minute. My behaviors right now are not in congruence with what I'm teaching my clients of like building a freedom-based lifestyle from their business and like taking care of their human first. So I had to recalibrate and fix those behaviors. And surprisingly, it took a lot longer than just a week. It took me deconditioning the programming in my subconscious mind, healing huge aspects of myself, surrendering, trusting, and allowing. And then I was finally able to integrate that work into my life on a deeper level. So my question for you is, what needs to be cleaned up in your mindset, business, and behaviors? This could also include boundaries, marketing, messaging, all of the things. So what needs to be cleaned up? Next, are you doing the things you ask your clients to do? If you ask your clients to invest in themselves big, are you investing in yourself big? If you ask your clients to commit to results, are you committing to results? If you ask your clients to do the work inside of your containers, are you doing the work inside of your containers? Ask your clients to have healthy habits. Do you have healthy habits? So think about these things, because this, I'm telling you, it is not the end all and be all, because there are plenty of people who are out of integrity who make a lot of money, but us being soul-led women who have strong values and morals, if we try to do this, it's going to feel like we're out of alignment. We're going to slow down and we're going to block ourselves from growing because it's going to feel completely in contradiction with who we are. So like, are you doing the things that you ask your clients to do? Lastly, where are you choosing fear over trust in your business? So this could be on multiple different levels. Is it you're not trusting yourself to make the pivot? Are you not trusting yourself to invest? You're not trusting yourself to post. You're not trusting yourself to do the launch. You're not trusting yourself to follow through. You're not trusting yourself to have hard conversations with your clients. Where are you choosing fear over trust in your business? And let's take a second. I want to see what you guys are saying. Let me see. Yes, I was living what I teach and help women for a long time. Yes. And that's it, right? I'm very conscious of my mindset, but I can clean up some things around my behaviors in my business. I still procrastinate on things. I love that. I love the self-awareness. I need to trust my intuition more. I love that. And it's all about this awareness, because every single week, month, new level, new client, whatever, like getting a new client, working in a group container, hosting masterminds, being in a mastermind, hitting a new level of income, all of these things are going to expose new levels of awareness to us around where we need to clean things up or how we're not in congruence with what we're offering. For the most part, I'm living the things I ask my clients to do. I can work on following through on some of the things in the containers I'm in groups. Very good. Very good. All right. So this is very, very important. This is a very important conversation. What did I do? Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is your challenge. And this is perfect for Natalie, who just said that she needs to trust her intuition more. So I want you to tune into your intuition. When we get off of this call, or even right now, if you just want to take a second, kind of close your eyes and just ask yourself. You don't even have to think about it too much. You're just going to ask yourself, what's my next move? There's going to be a feeling or a thought that immediately happens. The next thing you'll do is try to judge that thought or analyze that thought or analyze that feeling or whatever. That's when you're moving away from your intuition. Whatever that first, like, oh, this is what I need to do. That response, that primitive, like instinctual response that comes through when you ask yourself, what's your next move? You're going to go do that. No thinking about it, no hesitating on it. It's something. And I bet it's something that you've already been thinking about for a while. I bet it's something that you've already been telling yourself, I should probably do this. I should probably do this, or whatever. That might be the first thing that comes through, or it might be something you hadn't even thought of before. But you're going to trust that and you're going to go do it. And then I want you to share in the group what that thing was. Okay. Let's jump into the Q&A. let's jump into the Q&A. If either of you have a question, go ahead and pop it in the chat. I'm going to answer the 2 that were submitted, and then we will wrap this Seen, Heard, and Paid challenge up, which is crazy that we've already done this for 3 days. I can't believe it. Or 5 days. Ugh. All right. I see how day 3. So day 3 was about conversations. Advice works for a business to business coach for sure, because it's obvious that that person is following you as coaching. I'm a feminine embodiment coach, and most of my clients are dating. So my Instagram is set up to message to successful single women. Okay. When someone follows me, I really don't know how to transition the relationship from friendship to me asking them if they are single. My main high ticket clients are very private and they sign a privacy waiver, and I'm dealing with the most vulnerable parts of their lives. I understand that. So I just struggle a bit now on how to stay out of the friend zone. I feel like I get to connect with them, but I'm not sure after how to ask them about what is going on with them. Sometimes my clients are in a toxic relationship and follow me or see me. Okay. I feel like the client single, successful women coaches tech are very private at this area, but this is a limiting belief. Okay, so this is a really great question, and I've had this question come up a lot in a different context of just like, well, you're a business coach, so it's easy, right? And yeah, it's easier for me to spot my ideal client because they're marketing themselves as a coach. So like I know instinctually, but also when your messaging is set up appropriately on your page and you're running yourself as a business, there shouldn't be any hiding behind the fact that you are a coach who is helping clients, right? And so from that mindset, when we enter into it with like, I don't have to hide the fact that I'm welcoming clients in. And the reason I'm in my DMs having conversations is obviously because people are looking for help with this topic. Then we don't have to feel icky or gross or hesitant to just say straight out, like, so what made you follow me? Like, it can just be that simple, because we're not trying to hide the fact that we are people who are selling services on the online space. And I know that for most women, and there's no shame or judgment to be had here, I know that for most women, it's like, well, they're going to think I'm pushy, or like, how can I actually transition to like, I'm a coach and I want to help you type conversation. And it's like, you've already stated that in the fact that you have a business page and that you're a coach marketing services and inviting clients to work with you. So if someone's in your DMs, you don't have to hide the fact that you are a coach and that you are going to be paid if they desire help from you. Now, some people might not desire help from you, and it's not that you ghost on those people, but it's you're not there to make friends in the DMs. You're not there to create this best friends in the DMs and to create a girl squad in the DMs. Like, we're there to help people, provide services, and provide resources to help them change in the area of change that we provide, to help them get results from where the results that we provide. So if it's specifically relationships and you're worried about maybe stepping over a boundary to their privacy, then I would just simply ask them. So it's, I've really enjoyed talking to you. I'm curious, what made you follow me? Do you relate with the toxic relationship post that I just put up, or something, whatever they engage with you at? Or you can just simply say, I'm curious, what made you follow me? Tell me a little bit more about what's going on. And like from there, you can even address the fact that they're like, well, I don't know, I just kind of liked your content, it resonates with me. Be like, that's awesome. I'm so happy that it's helping you in a way. I just want you to know that like anything that you share with me here is very private. I honor my clients and my community's privacy. But so if there's something that you're looking for support with, let me know. That's what I'm here for. And then from there, they might decide that they open up and tell you something. Right? But I think many times we place our own fears and our projections onto our clients and onto our audience. And we think that we can't ask them because it makes us feel uncomfortable to ask them. So then we assume that they're going to feel uncomfortable if we ask them, when in reality, they already know that we're a relationship coach or a trauma coach or whatever. And that's the whole reason that they're following us, is because by following us, they've already basically said, I have this problem. You know what I mean? So you don't have to feel scared to say like, so tell me a little bit about like what's resonating with you in my content. And then if they truly are like people who are looking for help, then they're going to tell you. You know what I mean? Especially if you've already kind of had a few touch points with them to build trust. So don't feel scared to pivot the conversation and be the leader in the conversation. And if you need to let them know because you think that they're going to have an issue with the privacy thing, then just blatantly say, everything that you say to me is private, so I don't want you to worry about that. Right? Let me know if that's helpful after you watch it, but that's really the case for everyone across the board, whether it's this specific question or if you're working with other types of clientele. It really just gets to be as simple as, remember that you're a coach in the space. You've already marketed yourself as a coach who has services for sale and is open space for clients. And you're not just a random page on the internet who's looking to connect with friends and build a friendship network. Like, you're actually a person who's marketing and selling services online, and we don't need to hide that. All right, so question 2. Is it okay to send a warm DM to people who have liked your post, or just the ones who have commented on it? I think that this is an emotional intelligence thing. So like, it's not a matter of like you can or you can't. I know in the beginning I used to. Now I only do it sometimes because I kind of like gauge what the comment was, right? So if someone says in the comments like, this totally resonates with me, this is exactly what I'm going through right now, then I would probably send them a DM. I would probably be like, hey, I'm so happy that my post resonated with you. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on. Right. And then from there, I would start a conversation, and I would stay in the leadership position in that conversation, and I would offer them a call or let them know I have a program that could help them if they're interested. And this is where we have to be really okay with rejection. Like, and it's not even a rejection. It's just they're not ready for that yet, or it's just not the right time for them. But we perceive it as rejection, so we have to honor that. But we just have to be really okay with like, I'm going to test out, like, maybe this is the right time to send a DM. Maybe it's not. And I just have to be okay with however they respond. So my answer to this would be, it's subjective as to like, what is your intuition telling you? What is your emotions telling you? Intuition is a huge part of coaching too. So like, when we are able to trust our intuition to take these certain actions, like, should I DM or shouldn't I DM, or should I offer the call or shouldn't I offer the call, or should I, pivot the conversation now or not pivot the conversation now? When we start to really trust what our intuition is telling us and strengthen our emotional intelligence, we're going to get really good at knowing when it's right and when it's wrong. But we can't really strengthen our intuition until we experiment with learning, like, what was an intuitive hit and what was a scarcity hit, or what was an old programming hit and what's a higher self intuitive hit. And we can't really learn what that is unless we try and then discern and reflect on what was each, you know what I mean? And we'll know by how we feel, we'll know by the feeling that we have afterward. And we'll start to get really clear on like, okay, this is my intuition and my emotional intelligence speaking to me, and not fear or projection. So is it okay to send a warm DM to people who have liked your post, or the ones who just commented on it? If they've liked it, then I missed that part of the question. I apologize. So if they liked it, have they been liking a lot of your posts? Have they commented previously? That would be what I would question. And I wouldn't just send one to everyone that likes my post, but I would go and see who liked my post and then go look at their stories and see what they're doing, or go to their page and maybe engage with a piece of their content or comment on their story if it felt appropriate, and then go from there. All right, let me see if there's anything that came up in the chat. Go for it. Go for it, Natalie. If your intuition is telling you that, do it. Do it. And you don't have to feel like it's right or wrong or good or bad. Like, don't listen to what other people say. Trust your intuition. So like, even if something I said just right there, you were like, no, my intuition is telling me different, then trust that. Just trust that. And send those people those messages and just say, hey, I'm really happy that you liked my post. What resonated with you? Or just like, hey, I'm happy that my posts are helping you, or whatever you want to say. And then trust that. And then let us know how it goes in the group. Okay. All right, ladies, it's a perfect timing, 11:55. We have come to the end of the 5 days. If you are interested in working together, all you have to do is message me. Let me know. There's all those different ways for us to work together. Message me. We can talk. There's no pressure. We can just have a simple conversation, or you can book a biz audit. That link is in the group. I am going to be doing a masterclass on how to run masterclasses, how to set up and run masterclasses. So that's coming up. I just talked about it in my stories. So if any of you want to come, this is actually, I just want to celebrate really quick, because this is the most signups I've ever had for a challenge / masterclass, with 79 people. I know. And my goal was 100. So I got really close. And I honestly, like, it felt so easy to promote this because of the the nervous system work and the mindset shifts and the strategy that I'm using right now. It was just like the easiest thing ever. And so I want to be able to share that with you all at a masterclass, because this was like the easiest one to promote. And I've promoted masterclasses before where I've had like 10 signups when I normally have 40, and it felt like the hardest thing to promote. And it felt like the hardest thing to like market and get people to sign up for. And I'm really grateful for those times, because I can see the difference now. I can see like what worked and what didn't in regards to mindset and strategy and energy. And so I can't wait to share that with you all during the masterclass. I'm going to be promoting that in my story, so you can go check that out. Or if you already know you want in, it is going to be a paid masterclass. I'm probably going to start it at like 33 or 44. I haven't decided yet, but full price will be 111. So if any of you want to join, just let me know. I hope that you can take everything that we've done here and apply it consistently. And if you need support, get support, whether it's from me or somebody else. I don't really give a shit, but get support if you need to, because the long-term game really is that consistency and that resiliency like we talked about today. And so whatever Empowered Society gets all the paid master classes. And if you need to have that support to make sure that you remain consistent, work through some of the maybe trauma responses or challenges that you're having internally, or you just want to deepen that connection. It doesn't even have to be a problem, but you just desire to get better and be stronger and be more resilient and trust yourself more, then get the support that you need, because honestly, that's really the game changer for the people that you see making crazy amounts of money in this industry. It truly is just the fact that they are committed to themselves, committed to their growth, and have support and have really strengthened that resiliency factor. And I believe that with my whole heart. So take what you've learned, use that, practice your own resiliency, and I can't wait to see what results happen for you. I will see some of you in the next container is an Empowered Society and Content to Cash Flow at the master classes. If I don't ever see you again, I wish you the best. I hope that you have an amazing, successful, magical business. And I just want you to know that I love you and I'm rooting for you and I want us all to win. And I can't wait to hear your celebrations in the group too. So make sure you celebrate in there, because I love to see them. All right, ladies, that's it. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next time.